Hello and welcome to our webinar diving deep into conversion rate optimization, otherwise known as CRO for your B2B website. I'm Vicky, the marketing executive at Big Fork, and I'm here with Mark, who is one of the directors here.
Morning.
So to kick things off, Mark, what do you love about CRO?
Yeah, so what do I love about CRO? Well, I love marketing that gets, really good results. And CRO is a really good marketing tactic that, to be honest with you, so many companies in B2B just don't seem to know about it, which really puzzles me a lot of the time. It's very popular in e-commerce, but I think a lot of companies who don't do e-commerce, it's got great potential for, they really could get a lot more quality leads by getting involved with CRO. Too many businesses in B2B really do obsess about getting more and more and more traffic onto the website, but they just don't think about improving their website to convert more of that traffic into leads. And it's like, well, why wouldn't you do that really? Because you're not really measured by traffic, you're measured by results in marketing, aren't you? Which can be brutal at times.
Yeah, well, I must admit, I didn't know the term CRO until not long ago when we met, but I was already using it in a way to test different forms, different website pages. So I wonder if a lot of marketers are in a very similar position that they're doing it, but they don't actually know that they're doing it. So do you want to just give a quick overview of CRO?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I mean, yes, it's a good point, Vicky. I mean, conversion rate optimization, CRO, as we call it. I mean, in simple terms, it's just really about changing your website to increase conversions. And what I mean by conversions is they can be lead inquiry forms, newsletter sign-ups, downloads of documents you're producing for your content, like sort of guides and papers and things. So it involves a lot of activity, CRO, but the process really starts off with analyzing your website, what the pain points to the conversions are like, and we use heat maps, things like Hotjar and Clarity from Microsoft, but also GA4. So we're really looking to see what isn't converting well. It could be an inquiry form, or it could be a download where it just isn't sort of doing it for it. But that's the basics of CRO.
Yeah, so to use heat maps and kind of Google Analytics to assess where I suppose the problems lie in on a B2B to website, but using other measuring techniques to kind of find the effectiveness of it, I guess. So how
Yeah, I
can
mean,
marketers like use that?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about CRO is it's really measurable. And in marketing, you're always looking to measure what you do. And the top metric that we use for CRO is the conversion rate of your website. So what I mean by that is the percentage of your traffic that converts into like an action, like a lead or a newsletter sign up. The average in the B2B sector is about 2.2, 2.3%. So that's what you're aiming for. Um, and you can also measure different things on your website. So that 2.2, 2.3% I'm talking about there is the overall conversion rate, but you can drill down into things like what's your conversion rate for your lead form or your demo sign up or your download. So if any of those are really low, you can sort of prioritize them for improvement to start off with. And I think I'd recommend for anyone in marketing doing CRO or anything really to do with a website is produce a dashboard that they can present to the C-suite or the boss, which includes things like what the conversion rate is for the website and then what it is for the different calls to action that you've got on the website. But also I'd include other things like cost per lead. So where effective CRO, what effective CRO can do is really bring down that cost per lead because it just makes your campaigns and your traffic a lot more effective.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the hard thing a lot of marketers face is being able to prove the return on the investment, prove why things like CRO are worth it. So I guess linking that back to revenue, to cost per lead, to actual marketing costs is a really good way to present that to decision
Yeah,
makers, I guess.
definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we know what CRO is, we know kind of how to measure it, but top what are the top three mistakes that you see B2B websites doing that potentially could
Ooh.
hurt their conversions?
Oh, the top three. Yeah, well, there's normally lots. I think the first one I see a lot, and it's something we know that customers in B2B really complain about is user journeys. So quite
Mhm.
often you go to a B2B website and you've got a whole list of products, product categories, subcategories. So they're taking a long time to drill down to the product they want, or just having trouble finding the right product for the problem they have. So I think the first thing I would recommend, or the first mistake I see is poor navigation. So work on better navigation for that. I think number two is definitely forms. So whether it's a lead gen form or a sign up form, I think the ones I do see a lot, they tend to be too long, and we know that the more simple a form is, the higher the conversion rate on that form is. So just make them easy to fill in, push the benefits they're going to get from it, and just tell them what's going to happen next when they press that button and send it off, really. I think lastly, and this is something that's really important, is the calls to action. So the calls to action are those buttons you see on a website which will say, get a quote, sign up here. So most B2B websites I see don't really have many good ones. They're poor, or a lot of them don't even have them at all, which is bizarre, really, because people need to be told what they're going to do on the website. So what people need to be doing with calls to action is have them on every page that matters, especially the product pages, really make them stand out and test different ones as well. That don't just you put one on there and think, okay, we'll just see how that goes. Quite often you can test calls to action, and it's a big thing with CROs is test different things and see which performs best.
Yeah, and I guess with things like calls to action, you can have more than one on a page. Maybe some people would think you don't want to overload it, but I think putting more than one in different places on the page works, does it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, you always make sure there's one in the sort of top part of the page when people land on there. Either in the nav bar or in the hero image, and just put them down as people scroll through the page. Put them in there, and you can have different CTAs. So quite often people just repeat the same CTA, and find out more or inquire here, that sort of thing. So. And the thing with CTAs is you can really be clever with them. You can tell them what problem you're going to solve, find out here how we can make you more productive or save you more money or whatever the benefit of the product actually is, really.
Yeah, like flip that onto the user, not look at us, we're
Yeah.
so great. Like, what can we do for you? Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And as soon as you get those calls to action that stand out and put them in the right places, you generally see the conversion rate go up for that page,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So three kind of takeaways from that are that it needs to be simple, it needs to be clear, and it needs to be direct, I guess, for users on your
Absolutely.
website.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, CRO is all about what the customer wants from your website and what you want them to do, and just getting a balance right, really.
Yeah. So have you got any real life examples or descriptions, good or bad?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've been doing CRO for some time, and I think the most recent project we did, which is really good, was with a company called Cortex. They're a SaaS company, and they sell fleet management software. So basically, they wanted more leads from their website, so they appointed us to do the project on the website, really. So their customer research showed that they were really highly rated for customer service, which is very important in SaaS. But they didn't really show it on their website. It was really lacking. So we redesigned and tested quite a few pages that showed a lot more social proof, simplified the demo sign up forms, and just made the calls to action a lot more bolder and a lot more stronger. Um,
Mhm.
and the results were far better than we thought they would be. So we increased inquiries by 300%, and it wasn't small numbers. So it wasn't like from five to 50 or something like that. It
Yeah,
was several thousand we're talking about. So that was really good. And what I'll do as well, would you like to see a screenshot?
love to see a screenshot.
So I'll just get this on the screen here. So it's um, yeah, so this is just shows the new design versus the existing design. So on the left is obviously the new design and the old designs on the right. So you can see here that we made the design a lot more human. Customer service is all
Yeah.
about people, so why not show people? But what we found with their competitors, everyone showed pictures of vans and trucks and screenshots. So, but we wanted to make them a lot more different. So we added that in there, a strong value proposition. And then you can see there with the call to action, we made them red, which is off-brand color, but just makes them really stand out. So get a
Yeah.
quote, see our pricing plans. They had really good Trustpilot reviews, 5 stars. So we put that up there straight into the hero. And then we had some numbers there, some key facts about the success that they provided. And then we told them who they were aimed at there, business owners and fleet managers. So the smaller companies all the way up to the big companies who have fleets of hundreds and thousands of vehicles. Everyone wants to know how much it's going to cost. So we immediately put in pricing plans there. That's a data capture exercise. So it goes straight off to a form there. And then we put this social proof block in really, which is, our people make the difference. Just to show a testimonial, the Trustpilot thing, their award they won for customer service as well, and just hammered that home. One of the things we did identify is, and this was in conversations with Quartix, obviously people already have fleet management software, so it's a big thing to switch from one supplier to the next.
Yeah.
So, how do Quartix make that easy for people to do that? Because that's a big thing. They're thinking this could be, a big problem. It's going to take time. Is it going to go smoothly? It's a really critical part of our operation. So we just put in 3 points of how easy it was to switch to Quartix. Some more social proof there, some questions and answers, an accordion there. And then finally, we produced a form there where you can either get a demo, you can sign up for a demo or a quote. As you can see, as I was saying earlier, keep it simple there. We've got some verification in there for the sales team when they get this and what size fleets they've got, and then they can just sign up there. So yeah, very simple. And you can just see, how different it is to the last one.
Yeah. It really feels more, I suppose, more personal, doesn't it? With
Yeah,
the pictures of the
definitely.
people, and you're kind of appealing straight to the user rather than talking about Cortex themselves.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, you're absolutely right there, Vicky. It's all about people, business to business and a software product, but it's still about the people at the end of the day. You're buying from people, you're getting
Yeah.
customer service from people, and so many B2B companies don't show that. And I think it's just about answering the questions the customers got, particularly Quartix. And we found they did engage with the social proof a lot more than things like pricing plans. And the
Okay.
sort of hypothesis we came up with there is that they were probably, this isn't a decision you take immediately. So they're probably checking out lots of different companies, their competitors. So they
Yeah.
think, yeah, the product looks good, but are they any good? So they want to see proof that you can do what you say you can.
Yeah. And they're probably looking for stories similar to themselves, I can imagine. So
Yeah.
that credibility and that social proof is really important for a
Yeah, I
company
mean, we're all the
like that.
same, aren't we? Whatever we're buying, whether it's something for ourselves or whether it's something for, through work, really. You don't want to make a mistake. And you want to see, that you can trust the people you're buying for and the product's going to be good and it does what you want it to, isn't it?
Yeah. 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 Any horror stories?
Yeah, well, I think there was a company a few years ago we did work with, and they were an insurance company, and they had an insurance product that we we were asked to do a website for. Sorry, I'm just remembering it now, and
Put you on the
um,
spot.
so the whole idea with the website was, so it was a website just for this insurance product that they were launching, and the whole idea with the website is people went on the website, they and they get a quote for the insurance product that they wanted. And it didn't really start off well, to be honest with you. So they hadn't carried out any customer or competitor research. And they came to us with all these, all this data that they wanted it to do, but we later found out it was just all based on inaccurate assumptions. So the key thing about CRO is you've got to do your homework on this.
Yeah.
You've got to, and it's the same with anything you're doing in marketing. You've got to know your customer and your competitors.
Yeah.
But they insisted. As when the website, when the visitor got to the website, they had to fill about 4 or 5 forms out to get a quote. So we did say to them, people aren't going to get up to probably, lose people at every stage of this. You just need one simple form. But they had
Mm-hmm.
financial compliance people who were driving this. So they
Oh,
ignored all
God.
our advice about designing a really simple user journey. And things like basic CRO and design tactics were dismissed. So they were very dictatorial in what they wanted. They were just so focused on what they wanted to do, and not what the customer wanted, really.
Yeah.
So it should have been the other way around. And so it all went live. But when we looked at their main competitor had it cracked with just one short form. I think there was like 3 or 4 fields, and you got a quote straight away. It took you less than 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So whereas theirs, when it went live, we showed they were losing loads of people. I didn't think they got anything from it for about 3 weeks. So
Right.
after 6 months, it failed. They binned it.
Oh,
Um,
lesson learned.
and yeah, it was a really bad example of how a company just ignores what their customers wanted, ignored the advice um, of people who had experience of doing this before, and just made a lot of inaccurate assumptions, really. So, yeah,
Yeah, it's data that underpins everything, isn't it? In
absolutely,
today's
yeah,
day and age.
yeah, yeah,
So to kind of wrap up, we're going to look at some kind of actionable takeaways for people watching. So if a business has never done CRO before on their B2B website, where should they start?
yeah. Well, I think that last example was a very good example of showing you where to start, which is with your customers. So I think you need to
Yeah.
understand what it is they want from your website. They had a new website, but I think anyone who's got an existing website is find out using tools like GA4 and heat maps. Find out what they're doing on your website. So
Hmm.
heat maps will show you where they're clicking, where they're scrolling. So you can start seeing pain points there. And GA4 will show you a lot of user journeys and engagement times and that sort of thing. So you can really build a picture of how people are using your website as well. And then I think you can start identifying where the barriers to conversions are on your website. So quite often
Yeah.
you'll see people always like clicking on things. So you'll see perhaps they're clicking on something you wouldn't think someone would click on. So, but how can you use that? And they might not be clicking on the things you do want them to. So, why aren't they doing that? Um, and I think as well as if you've got the time, if you've got the budget, really just ask your customers. So if you've got some good friendly customers, just sit down with them and ask them to go through your website. Give them a task to do on your website, like find this product or sign up for an inquiry or a newsletter, and just see how they use it. You can record it as well. You can do it over Teams. Um, and that is really, really good information, good insights if you see your customers doing that. So whenever we do that, we always find really good, useful insights into how customers use websites, because most B2B companies don't really do this. I think B2C companies do it a lot more,
Hmm.
but you really need to understand how your customers are using your website. So that's definitely where you want to start before you do anything else. Don't just immediately go straight into changing things.
Yeah, because you might be changing something that actually really
Yeah,
works.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And this is definitely a question that I'm sure you've been asked quite a few times, but what should a B2B business prioritize? You've got SEO, PPC, or CRO.
Yeah. Tough one. Yeah, and I think yeah, it is something businesses, marketing managers probably grapple with. But I think obviously you need traffic for conversion. So
Yeah.
that's obviously the big focus. So if you haven't got a lot of traffic, you've got to do your SEO, PPC. They're the main traffic drivers for most websites. And then if your conversion rate isn't good, so if you below 3%, to be honest with you, I would say you really need to look at, you've either got poor quality traffic, so you're not driving the right traffic to your website, they're not interested in your product, or your website obviously needs conversion rate optimization.
Yeah.
And so I think it's it's just understanding where you are with that, really. Ideally, you could do both. So as traffic's coming into your website, you can look at how it's converting as well. But sometimes people, they might say it's a budget thing, but you don't always need more budget to do CRO. So typically, you can look at what campaigns you're doing. So if you're doing a PPC campaign, there might be different campaigns you've got there that aren't really converting. So you could take the budget from that and put that into CRO and increase conversions there. So you don't necessarily need more budget, but what you can also do is just say, right, well, we'll do CRO. We've got plenty of traffic. We've done well on SEO and PPC. So you might want to halt some of your CRO and PPC work and just do CRO for 3 or 4 months just to increase your conversion rates.
Yeah, kind of manage the budget in another way rather than
Absolutely,
getting more.
yeah. And as I'm sure you know, Vicky, we have actually just produced a new report called Unlocking B2B CRO. So there's a lot more in there if you want to download it, if anyone wants to download it.
Yeah, I'll pop the link in the comments and in the description. That's quite helpful for people that would like to know a bit more, would like to know the basics, especially the difference between kind of B2B and B2C CRO, isn't it? There's a lot in there for B2B businesses, so that'll be really helpful.
Yeah, I think it will be. Yeah, if anyone is thinking of CRO or they just want to know more about it, yes, it's a really good place to start, I think.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time. If anyone would like to connect with us, I'm going to pop our QR codes on the screen. So send myself or Mark a connection request on LinkedIn. Any questions, pop us a DM, or obviously visit the website for our blog posts. So thank you, Mark, for your time.
Thanks, Vicky. Good to see you.
And thank you for watching, for those who are.